Hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 52 of Ironhammers Live, your weekly PC gaming podcast being broadcast live every single Tuesday night at 11 PM. That's British summertime at the moment, but in the winter it will be normal British GMT mean time thing. Yeah, every Tuesday right here on twitch.tv/Ironhammers. We're here to talk PC gaming, of course. My name is Bobby Goodin, also known throughout the online realm as Ironhammers, and joining me somewhere over that way, if you're watching the video feed that is, you can see him. Who else would you expect to see here with me on a Tuesday night as of late? None other than Daniel Nutman, Mr. Hardly Dan. May I ask, how the hell are you, man?
I'm pretty damn good, my friend.
Pretty
damn good. How are you?
Good. I'm not bad at all, actually. I'm in front of my PC again. I'm punching the microphone here. Apologies for that. But yeah, I'm in front of my PC once more. So I feel at home once again. Quite happy that once this is all over and done with, I can play some StarCraft because it's been a little while. So have you been up to anything interesting this week, man?
Taking photos of teapots.
I thought that might come up.
Yeah, that's about it.
Do you care to explain to the listeners why you took over... How many photos of teapots did you take today?
Something like 132.
132 photos of teapots. This man loves his tea, but I'm sure there was another reason behind it.
Yeah, I was helping out a neighbour. I can't be asked to go into it any more than that.
I don't think there's really much need to go much more into it, but it'll fill a few seconds at least. Yeah, it's been a pretty normal week for me, apart from not being here. Gamescom has, of course, been going on today. Some interesting stuff emerged from there, which we will get on to shortly. We'll be talking a little bit about BF3. We'll be talking about a new Valve game, but it's not Half-Life 3. Sorry, folks. Then we'll be talking a little bit more news while we're at it. Talking about what we've been playing throughout this week, which I have to say, there hasn't been a lot to play this week. Then we'll get on to what's coming out next week, and we'll finally get into our non-question of the week this week. So let's kick it off by getting straight into this week's PC gaming news. Okay, Dan, what have you brought about for this week's first news story?
Well, I'm a sucker for a racing game, and I've really started getting into Formula 1 racing games. And good old Codemasters have announced they're releasing a browser-based Formula 1 racing management game. So I'm quite looking forward to having a look at that.
Management and racing?
Management, I believe so, yes.
It certainly is.
So you can basically, all aspects of Formula 1 you can have a tinker around with, and I'm a Formula 1 freak as well. The screenshots look absolutely fantastic.
It looks nice. It's actually, it uses the same assets as Formula 1 2011.
Does it?
It actually uses the same assets. It's built on the Unity game engine, apparently. Which a few browser-based games have used. It does look quite nice. It's a top-down racing format, apparently, when you're racing. It reminds me of the old Micro Machines games, in a way.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well that's going to work with Formula 1.
Yeah, it could be a little bit tricky, man.
Yeah, it could be, as long as it's actually steering rather than rotating the car.
Indeed.
Like the old games.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's going to be great fun to play, and if it's not, well, let's face it, it's not cost anything.
No, it's going to be free.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to having a go.
I was quite surprised to see Codemasters branching off into that. I know everybody's doing it lately, but I thought Codemasters was sort of pretty set up. They kind of knew what they were doing, and they hit us with that one, man. So I can't remember. Do you remember when they said it was expected or anything, or was there a date?
First quarter of next year.
First quarter of next year, so not all that long to wait, really. Now
not really.
We're pushing through 2011 at pace.
Yeah, it's nearly time to have all the Christmas stuff in the shops.
Yeah,
So.
it won't be long at all, man. I wouldn't be surprised if you went now and
a few more weeks and it'll be everywhere.
More than likely. Oh man, I hate that time of year. I know it sounds like I'm a proper Scrooge.
I like Christmas. It's just the amount of the run-up to Christmas just gets longer and longer and longer, and we should probably stop talking about it because we're not really helping. So, yeah.
We're just going to make it carry on. So let's move on to the next piece of news this week. My notes say esports. Yay, esports is always good. A huge amount of esports goodness going on as I try and tuck my headphone wire behind my back because it really annoys me when it keeps falling over my hands. Esports this week, we've got, obviously we mentioned that Gamescom was going on this week, so from tomorrow we're going to get our very first look at Valve's Dota 2 gameplay. There's been little screenshots and stuff popping about, but there's a full, we mentioned it on a previous episode, I don't remember if it was last week or a couple of weeks ago. There's going to be a full Dota 2 tournament at Gamescom for $1 million, which is a ridiculous amount of money for an esports competition.
Keep me going and tea for a while.
Yeah, I don't mind £1 million for playing a little bit of Dota 2. Sounds perfectly good. I think there's going to be 12 teams from around the world. The tournament is called the International, and it kicks off tomorrow, which is the 17th of August, and it runs through till maybe the 21st of August, I believe. And there's going to be some full-on matches of Dota 2 being streamed. I think the place to watch it is Dota2.com. You'll be able to catch that there. Pretty simple stuff. And they released the first trailer for Dota 2 yesterday as well, so you might want to go check that out. You can find that on Ironhammers as well as on Dota2.com. So that's going to be a nice tournament to watch, and I'll be watching that one. I mean, I like my esports, particularly my StarCraft, so I'll be watching it. But I more just want to get a look at Dota 2 more than anything, which I think is the main reason for Valve holding this tournament, putting up a humongous amount of money to get people interested. But more importantly for me, StarCraft 2, the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge for Germany, is also being hosted at Gamescom this week. I think there's maybe 16 of the top players from around the world competing there. There is Huck is competing there, who recently today actually transferred from Team Liquid to Team Evil Geniuses, so he'll be sporting his new colours there. OGSMC is there. I think Puma might be there as well from EG. Tons of good players playing there this week. That kicks off tomorrow as well. I think it kicks off at something ridiculously early, like 9:05 in the morning in European time. So that's 8:05 in the morning here in the UK. If you listen to the recorded version, I doubt I will have it uploaded by then, so you'll probably miss it. But if you catch it towards the end of the week, it's running right through until Friday, I believe. So be sure to try and check out the finals or something, because I'm sure there'll be some awesome StarCraft 2 going on there, and I'm always wanting to promote a bit of StarCraft esports whenever and wherever it's going on. And also, following up this weekend or the weekend after is the next MLG event, MLG Rally. So there'll be even more awesome stuff going on, so that's so cool. Dan, next story?
Yeah, Epic Games.
I know of them.
Yeah, well, apparently they are making the PC its primary platform, which is damn good news, and I wish more people would bloody do it. So, that's a feather in our PC gaming cap, I reckon.
I need a few more feathers in mine. You can see the ball patches coming.
And they're saying it's nice to target the PC as a primary platform again, not just for ports. I think they've got 5 new games in various stages of development, and they're all designed for the PC first. So you could have some nice interface games, your keyboard, mouse, and all that controller bollocks.
Good.
Looking forward to it.
So I'm definitely looking forward to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they'll still be making the whole cross-platform thing, but I guess they'll be doing it in a kind of Battlefield 3 kind of way, where they make the PC the dedicated platform, which brings us right on to our next news story. And that was an announcement while I was watching the EA conference at Gamescom today. The lovely fellows from DICE came up on stage and decided that they were going to surprise us with the announcement of co-op play in Battlefield, and they gave a live on-stage demo, although they did play it on a PS3, which I was a little bit disappointed by. It didn't look half bad, mind. But I guess it was just easier on stage with 2 control pads to demo it like that, It's the simple things. So, Battlefield 3 co-op play, and they played through this one co-op mission. It looks like it's just going to be 2-player co-op, which is cool with me. I don't know if anybody's played any of the Spec Ops things, I think they were called, in like Modern Warfare 2 and stuff.
I
had quite a bit of fun with those, man. I thought they were quite cool, and this looks even cooler. This mission they did on here, that was, like I say, it was 2 players. They had to go into this like dark building. They kind of breached the doors, and they were spotting enemies. And how the spotting mechanic in Bad Company works, it's got that same kind of thing, obviously, from Battlefield 3. So you can spot the enemies for your opponents, so they can see where they are. And they had to go into this building. They kind of fought their way through this building, and they rescued a hostage from upstairs. They brought the hostage back down, took him out to a big convoy of Humvees, loaded him into the Humvees, and then continued to escort the convoy around the corner down this big road. And then a big rocket launcher came and blew up one of the Humvees, and it turned into an all-out kind of like shoot fest to end out the mission. And it looked amazingly fun, man. I'm a big sucker for co-op gameplay, as some of you will already know. I've mentioned it plenty of times before, and I could see me really getting into this. On the same note, they released a 1080p trailer of a 64-man Conquest game from the PC version, and boy does it look awesome. Yep. And that is why you must play Battlefield 3 on the PC and nowhere else.
They've got to have some nice sized maps, haven't they, for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
It'll be more than
I
sufficient.
love big maps.
64-man maps. So good. Oh man. Real Battlefield coming back, man. I can't wait for it.
It's going to be so good.
I don't care if I have to install Origin 10 times now. I'm playing Battlefield. I don't care. One final piece of news. We normally do just 2 pieces of news each, try and pick up the best ones. But there was one that I rather sheepishly forgot. Just as the podcast started, I remembered when we were discussing Eurogamer, which we'll be heading out to next month. And that is that Valve, not only are they hosting this awesome Dota 2 tournament, but they have announced a new Counter-Strike game called Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And I'm imagining it's going to have updated graphics and all that kind of good stuff. It's going to be based around the same type of multiplayer gameplay that we saw in Counter-Strike previous versions. And they even say they're going to keep some of the classic maps like DE Dust and all those good maps. So obviously inject a few new things in there at the same time. And this is something that I've personally felt is quite long overdue, because people still play Counter-Strike Source like religiously to this day, and whenever I play it, the gameplay is just so good, but it just kind of feels a little bit outdated. And I wanted to see them bring out a kind of updated version of it for a long time now, and they're doing it. So super competitive FPS returns with Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and I can't wait. And I think they said it was going to be due early 2012, but bear in mind that is Valve time.
So Christmas 2012,
maybe 2013.
Yeah.
Who knows? They work in a different realm to us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
good old Valve.
You just know it's going to be great, man. And
Yeah.
I can't doubt it. But the best thing about it was they announced that it will be playable at Eurogamer, which we're heading to next September. Next month, I guess.
Yeah, it's 34 days, 35
it's
days.
Not far off. It's around that time, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
I can't
Not that I'm counting.
I can't wait. We're going to be playing some Old Republic. We're going to be playing some Counter-Strike. We're going to be playing some Guild Wars 2. We're going to be playing some Battlefield 3. We're going to be playing all kinds of good stuff. So
I'm going to get my hands on everything that I can there.
So make sure to look out for some awesome coverage from that stuff on Ironhammers, and I'm sure we will have a dedicated podcast to the Eurogamer Expo the week after it happens. I'm sure we can arrange something, don't you reckon, man?
We'd be rude not to.
We would be ridiculously rude not to. That wouldn't be very nice of us at all, to not share our discoveries I just want to play Counter-Strike, man. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be so good.
I just want to get in an hour early so we don't have to deal with all the plebs.
Get in an hour early and play Counter-Strike for an hour.
Yeah.
Works for me. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this week's news. There's been other things going on, of course, but we don't like to make it go on too long. We used to do loads and loads and loads of new stuff, and it seems to be that most people tend to find the news if they want to know about it. So yeah, there's a few bits for you.
The news, isn't it?
Yep, indeed. But yeah, I had to add an extra one this week. So we're going to take a quick break now. As always, we're going to ask you to see if you can guess which video game this song is a remix from. And we will return for Dan's benefit in 3 minutes and 24 seconds.
Thank you very much, sir.
How does that sound? Sounds like the perfect time to do so.
Indeed.
If only we had those teleporters, I would take mine with sugar and milk. But I'm afraid we don't. So we will return right after this to talk about what we've been playing this week, as well as what's coming out over the next week. We'll be right back, guys. Okay, people, welcome back. I don't know if Mr. Harley down there caught any of that track. I don't believe he had the chance to. But no one in the chat room seemed to guess what it was, but they sure should have known. It was in fact from Mortal Kombat.
I actually heard all of it, and I was going to say.
Okay.
but yeah, screw you.
I'll let you off. I'll let you off. I assumed, as I saw from the webcam, you evacuated the immediate surroundings of the computer to brew yourself a cup of tea.
My lead reaches all the way to the kitchen.
Fair play, fair play, fair play. Fodder says Mortal Kombat there in the Terran 2 now. I don't know whether he heard me
better
first.
late than never.
Of course, there's a bit of a delay, so we don't know whether he's fooling with us or not.
Well, he wins a free copy of Team Fortress 2.
Yep, all round, all round. In fact, everybody can have one. I'm feeling generous. It was from Mortal Kombat. You can go and find that track if you liked it over at ocremix.org. That was awesome. And I've got another awesome track coming up for you shortly after this next segment, where we talk about what we've been playing this week. So, what have we been playing this week? For myself, it's been a bit of a strange week. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I haven't really been at my computer a whole lot this week. And so I was rather pleased to get back here today. So, I've been working with a rather awful PC to play games on.
With no mic.
No microphone. I think I've mentioned the computer before. It's got some dodgy Microsoft keyboard, which is pretty awful to play games with. It has a 15-inch monitor, which is even more awful to play games with. And the setup isn't exactly all that powerful. It has like a NVIDIA 8600 GT or something. I mean, it can play a few games. So, my challenge was to avoid the 15-inch screen, and instead this really awful computer is also connected to a 32-inch television. So I took the Xbox controller with me, and my challenge was to play games where I could sit back on the couch and use my Xbox controller and avoid the 15-inch monitor, which I did. So I played a bit of Super Meat Boy. Always comes to mind when you're thinking of controllers. There's a bit of a kind of theme here with the side-scrolling platformers, I'm afraid. Super Meat Boy, played some of that. Played some Trine, which if anybody hasn't played that yet, you really need to go check it out, because it is really good. I also got around to finishing Limbo. Amazing stuff, a rather abrupt ending. Quite short, as I mentioned before when I spoke about it. A lack of any real PC options as far as resolutions go, and any kind of graphical settings there isn't any. No choice to remap your keyboard or anything like that, which is always a bit of a letdown when you get a PC version of a game. But I wrote a review today, and it's up on Ironhammers if you'd like to go read it and get my full thoughts on the subject. But in my review I wrote, I'm quite willing to sacrifice all of those things for the fact that I got to play Limbo on the PC, because it is it's a masterpiece basically. It is brilliant. It does amazing things with such simple things. It confuses me. I was trying to get the point across in my review, and I read it back and I thought, I don't know if people will understand exactly what I mean from what I'm saying, but it will kind of put something at you. Like when I spoke about it when I'd first started playing it, either last week or the week before. I think it was last week. I spoke about how there was no kind of background music at the start, and it really threw me off, and I was a bit confused and a little bit disappointed. And then the ambient sounds just drew me right into my monitor, and I was just right in there, loving it. And it does the same thing with many aspects of the game. The graphics at first glance look very simple and very kind of basic, but then the more you look, the more you see, and there's all these kind of weird depth of field things going on, and like different little effects and just little touches around the place, and it does it with the game mechanics as well, and the way that another thing I tried to get across in my review is that all the time I've played video games, they kind of teach you certain rules that a video game abides by. One of which is that things that are the same tend to be the same throughout the game. If you understand me, Dan. I'm not sure if you kind of follow me here.
Yeah, no, I do.
So say in Mario, if there's a box with a question mark on it, and you jump into the box, something will come out of it, like generally a coin or a mushroom or something like that. And all the way through the whole of every Mario game ever, that same rule applies. So in Limbo, if you see a button somewhere that you can stand on, and it does a certain thing, you assume that the next time you come across that very same looking button, it's going to do the same thing, but it doesn't. And you end up squished, and it's rather brutal, which is another thing that it confuses you with, because it looks all cute and cuddly when you first start playing, and the next thing you know, your poor little character's head is rolling around on the floor, with silhouette blood splurting everywhere, and an almighty clap of a bear trap or something. And it just amazes me, it just astonished me, like at every turn basically. It's just an amazing game. I wanted to give it a 5 out of 5 so bad, because it is perfection in what is there. It's a bit short, but as I said before, what you get is of such high quality that everything is just so perfectly placed and perfectly thought out. The checkpoints are perfectly placed. The jumps,
the puzzles are spot on.
Exactly, and they're so clever. And if there's a jump that you need to make, it's so the distance of the jump is so fine that you often think you can't actually jump it, but you can. Just that, to that millimeter, you can make it if you jump at the right moment, and it's just perfection. I couldn't give it 5 out of 5 for the lack of PC options, because I couldn't let my morals go and not complain about it. So I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, which I thought was very, very fair indeed. But an absolutely amazing game. The other game I played is a game called Jack Claw, which I'm not sure if many people would have heard of. It came as part of the Humble Frozen Byte bundle not so long ago. It was a concept game that they made. It never actually made it to release, but they bundled it in as part of the Humble Frozen Byte bundle when they were doing that deal a while back. So I don't think you can actually guess it now if you want to obtain it. I'm not sure. So it may be a little bit pointless me speaking about it now. But if anyone has bought the Humble bundle from before and perhaps hasn't checked out Jack Claw yet, maybe they just wanted to play Trine, or they wanted to play one of the other games that was in there, like Shadowgrounds or something, check out Jack Claw. It's the thing that made me go to it was that I remembered them saying when it released it was only compatible with an Xbox 360 controller. It didn't have a keyboard and mouse setting to start with. They've patched that in now, but they still recommend you play it with a controller. And it's kind of weird, man. I love the way it's laid out. It's all laid out like a comic book. So you'll have a cutscene, but the little like squares in the corner of the screen will have a bit of text on, like in a comic book, where it says 2 weeks later or something, you know. And it looks all cool like that. You're playing this guy, I'm guessing he's called Jack Claw. He's a random guy, and he has a big robotic, like Dr. Octopus style claw thing coming out of his back. And you control the character with the left stick, and you control the claw with the right stick. And basically the object of the game is to progress through a level facing multiple enemies that are shooting at you, and you just use this big old claw to like pick up cars and just throw them at people and just smash stuff up, and you can pick people up and throw them around, and just picking stuff up with a claw and throwing it around. And it's a very interesting little game mechanic. The game was obviously never really finished, so it's a little bit buggy in parts I found, and it did crash a couple of times. But if you got it as part of the Humble Frozen Byte bundle, definitely go and check it out if you've got a gamepad that you can play it with, because it's a really interesting idea, and I would have liked to have seen it progress a bit further than what it did, to be honest. But yeah, check it out. It's called Jack Claw. I don't know if you can find it anywhere else. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think you can. But it's good fun. And a word of warning, when you start it up, it will be in keyboard and mouse mode, and if you want to switch it to gamepad mode, you have to press F1, because I tried pressing everything and there was no menu options to kind of change it or anything like that. I couldn't work it out as I was pressing all these buttons, and I pressed F1 and it said gamepad mode enabled. I was like, bargain. Oh, and if you want to try and pause it, don't press escape, because that just exits the game. Don't do that. But yeah, it was good fun. It kept my controller things going for a little while, where I didn't want to use the 15-inch monitor, so it was all good with me. Now I'm back here. I've got my monitor, I've got my keyboard, I've got my mouse, and I can play some StarCraft, and I'm ready to go. So Dan, on that note, what have you been playing this week, man?
Well, I've been playing something that works really well with the Xbox controller, and you could have played it on the TV, sitting on the couch, and really enjoyed it. And that was Rusty Hearts.
Told me this before, man. Although we hadn't gone into details about my reasoning behind being stuck in front of a TV, I guess.
No. But yeah, Rusty Hearts. I've been playing a load of betas, basically, and I've had 4 of us playing a bit of Rusty Hearts, having a good laugh. It's great fun. I keep saying that. No one ever gets one of those codes off you, but it's well worth having a go. It's free. So
so on that note, if anybody wants a beta code for Rusty Hearts, they were very kindly given to me by Miss Tina Beans. She hooked them up through Gamer Gaia, I believe it's pronounced, who she's working with. She had a whole bunch. She shot me some over, and I had a few from before as well. I can't get rid of them, to be fair. But Dan seems to be loving it, and a couple of other people I've spoken to are like, Bobby, download Rusty Hearts. Why haven't you downloaded Rusty Hearts yet? And I'm like, I haven't been at home. I'm sorry. And everyone seems to be enjoying it. So if anybody wants a code, just send me an email, podcast@ironhammers.org. Say, hey, Bobby, give me a code for Rusty Hearts. And I'll say, okay, whoever you may be, here's a code, and here's how you redeem it. And then you can come and play with us.
Yeah. I've also been playing Angry Birds Beta on Google+.
On Google+? Games on Google+, hey?
Yeah. I thought I'd give it a go, since it was there. Had a look through the games, thought, I'll go for that one. And it worked absolutely fine, and it's free, which is always a bonus.
Indeed.
And I got an invitation to this Call of Duty Elite thing, which again is in beta.
But there's no PC beta for it.
No, and it looks a bit cack anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Tell me a little bit more about it. Is it just like an online place where you kind of go and look at things?
Well, yeah, the idea is you've got like this meeting place with all your friends, a bit like Facebook, but just for Call of Duty games, and they're meant to be competitions and events that you can enter, but there's nothing there at the moment. So it's just a list of all my friends that have actually on the beta, and I can't really do much with it, so I've kind of ignored that.
And I believe it's going to be a paid-for service once it...
Yeah, they're going to have to do a lot of stuff to make me pay for that. Like give me Call of Duty for free.
Whereas Battlefield 3, of course, is going to have Battle Log, which they were talking about earlier today at Gamescom, saying how you can connect to Battlefield players regardless of what platform they're on. You can make friends with them and stuff on there. And that is actually how they will track your scores from like the co-op play that we were talking about earlier. I should have mentioned this while we were talking about that, to be honest, but it completely slipped my mind.
That's alright, it fits here.
So you'll be able to play and get a score, and it will be tracked on Battlelog, and much like Autolog, I guess, it will compare it with your friends' scores, and it will tell you if a friend's beating your score, and then you can try and beat them again. And I think it could be a success, to be honest.
Well, yeah, that Autolog, when I played Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, or was it Most Wanted? I can't remember which one it was. Hot Pursuit. Yeah, that really kind of kept me trying to get faster times on all the maps, because I didn't want some guy in the States beating me.
Exactly. It's a great way to add longevity to a racing game.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And if it works in an FPS, then so much the better.
Certainly, man.
I've also been playing a little bit of StarCraft too.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, quite a bit of StarCraft too, actually. I think if I go onto my Raptor page, it's probably the game I've played the most in the past month.
And that's what I like to hear.
I thought you'd like to hear that.
Converting gamers week by week.
But Rusty Hearts is getting there as well. It's fantastic.
We will play Rusty Hearts together soon, I promise.
Yeah, well, you need your 360 controller. It makes it so much easier to play.
Yeah, it's still in my bag from my travels, but it shan't be too difficult to whip it out and play some Rusty Hearts. Cool. I think that's about all we've been playing this week. I don't think there's anything else I should mention. I did play a rather awesome game on the iPhone called Glowfish. There's a full review of mine over on 148apps.com. so maybe just go over there and read it. I won't go into too much detail as it's an iPhone game. But it's very good. It's one of the best iPhone games I've ever played. Very highly polished, very well done. It comes from Mumbo Jumbo Games, who have made quite a few good iPhone games to date, but they've kind of hit the ball out of the park with this one. I absolutely love it. Also great when you're not in front of your PC, and the 3-inch screen on my iPhone, or whatever size it is probably better than the 15-inch one that I had the option of using instead.
What was the ratio on the 15-inch one?
It's not too bad. It's 1024 by 768. It's not 800 by 600 at least. But yeah, it is a 4 by 3 ratio, and it's a LCD screen. But it's a really, really bad LCD screen. Do you know the LCD screens where you can see like a faint grey line between all the pixels? Like there's kind of a crisscross pattern on the screen. You're not quite sure what
it's like grouting.
Yeah.
Grouting on your tiles.
It looks like that, especially when you're looking at something white. It's kind of, you can really notice it then.
Do you get motion blur with it as well?
Not so much. It seems alright in that aspect, to be honest. But yeah,
not as bad as it could have been then.
It's just not a nice thing to be sitting in front of and playing a game. When you couple it with the rather bad system that's running behind it, and that awful Microsoft keyboard, it's not fun. I didn't find it fun. So yeah, let's have a look at what's coming out next week, shall we, man?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So this week, a couple of games launched today, which we didn't mention last week because I'm a retard, and I completely didn't notice they were coming out this week. I think it's because dates weren't finalised. And the first one, Age of Empires Online, launched today. Microsoft kept that one quiet, man.
They did, didn't they?
They were all about the beta a while back.
Yeah, which was good fun.
Suddenly, reviews started popping up online, and I was like, it came out already? What happened? It came out today? Huh? What? What happened there? When did they announce that? They'd heard nothing about it. There was a trailer not so long ago, but there was nothing really anywhere kind of trying to promote it. I don't know, it's out. I played a bit of the beta. It was alright. It's not bad.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It did seem a little kind of simplified.
Yeah, it is a kind of simplified version of Age of Empires, but it does retain a lot of the basic RTS elements.
Yeah, it's kind of like the difference between Civ and that
Civ Revolution.
Civ Rev.
Yeah. It is kind of not quite such an extreme scale down.
No.
And I think probably as you get later on into it, you probably get a bigger range of units and stuff, and it might open up a little. I don't know. I didn't get all that far in the beta. But it launched today. Another game that launched today is called Bastion, which is something that people have been absolutely raving about on the consoles.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've heard it is really good. Have you played it, Dan?
I've played a bit of it, yeah, and I need to buy it. I think it might be cheaper on the PC, so I'll be getting it on the PC.
Why the heck not? Apparently it's great. It looks like a kind of isometric viewpoint kind of thing. I've heard different people talking about it, and I haven't quite managed to put all the pieces together they were talking about. But it looks good from what I've seen, and everyone seems to say it is absolutely amazing. So you should probably definitely check that one out. We're still waiting on a Steam code to be sent our way. I was in cahoots with the PR guy earlier on, and he's still waiting on the codes himself, because the funny thing about Steam games is they rarely get the codes like before it releases. It's really strange. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't know. But hopefully by next week I will have had a chance to play some of it, and I'll be able to tell you maybe a little bit more about what it actually is.
I loved from what I played, it was fantastic, the way that you've got this narrator basically describing everything that's happening in the game that you're doing. And there's a bit where I fell off the map, and he goes, and he fell to his death, and then he's like, only kidding, and then you respawn, and I went and started attacking some stalls and things to get some XP, and it's like, and he went on a rage for a bit and started breaking stuff up. Like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I've heard that the way they tell the whole story, apparently it carries on through the whole game, the way they use this narrator to tell the story, and apparently it adds a really interesting kind of dynamic into your insight into the game, because sometimes he knows things that maybe characters wouldn't, sometimes he doesn't know things that you think you know, and apparently it makes for quite an interesting game, and the gameplay itself is supposed to be really good too.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it's supposed to be very pretty to look at.
Indeed.
So you should probably check that one out, even though I haven't played it myself, so I can't say I'll recommend it. But from what I've heard, it's supposed to be really good.
I recommend it.
Coming out actually through the rest of this week, however, we have Pro Farm 1, which is one for Dan. It's a Farming Simulator 2011 add-on. That launches on...
I don't have Farming Simulator 2011.
No, so. I know you're keen to try it.
No, I want trucks and trailers, man.
He's waiting for the Game of the Year edition, isn't he, man? I know what you're all about. 19th of August, that launches. From Dust launches tomorrow, which Dan spoke a little bit about last week. Could well be worth picking up.
Not at the price they're selling it at.
Is it a lot? $17.99 or something, I think, if I remember right.
I thought it was about 12 quid, but I still think it should be under a tenner.
Really? Maybe wait a little while on that one.
I'd wait for that to drop.
Maybe pick up Bastion instead. And finally, we have Avedon, the Black Fortress, launches tomorrow, the 17th of August, on Steam. It's kind of it's an independent RPG epic, apparently. It looks very old school RPG, kind of squares and turn-based and all that kind of stuff. Which I know there's a few people out there who still love that kind of thing. It's not so much for me. But maybe check it out. Avedon, the Black Fortress. I'm sure it could be good. I'm not saying it's bad just because it's not my thing. Who knows? And I'm all for people checking out the indie games, so go and have a look at it. See what you think. Could be worth a try.
Indeed.
On that note, I don't think there's anything else coming out next week, but if I've missed anything that comes out in the next week, I'll tell you about it next week, if that helps. Probably doesn't. But it is, in fact, time to take a break once again. And we're going to play you another quick track.
I just thought of something quickly.
Go.
You can pre-purchase Trackmania 2.
You can
today.
Now, and the beta has started today as well, which I'm going to try and get in on. Trackmania 2. Yep, so check that out.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's beta sign-ups open at the moment. I think it might be a closed beta, I'm not sure.
No, I think it is to people that pre-purchase.
But I'm going to try
from the Ubi shop.
Use my Ironhammers magic to try and wangle my way into that beta for sure.
Nice.
And I shan't be buying anything from Ubi shop, I'm afraid.
No, well, if you get 2 codes, I'll have one.
Deal. Let me play this track. We'll be right back in around about 4 minutes. So, cool. If you're in the chat room, see if you can guess what game this one might be from. And I won't spoil it for you, Dan, this time. So if you hear it, you can take a guess when we come back. We'll see you very shortly. Yeah. So, how the hell was that, people? No one in the chat room wanted to take a guess at it. So, Dan, would you like to have a stab?
No, because I didn't actually hear it that time.
You've let me down, man. You've let me down.
I heard a little bit, and it sounded really old. Some of the bits that I heard.
It's quite old.
I almost wanted to say Dick Tracy, but it wasn't quite that.
Yeah, it wasn't quite Dick Tracy. It was, in fact, from Mega Man 3. The Snake Man theme tune.
The whole series I never actually played. I need to sort that out.
Oh, man, you haven't lived. Yeah, that was another track from ocremix.org, so go check them out over there. Awesome video game remixes. And lots of them. And I just got an email to tell me that From Dust is now available on Direct to Drive. So,
woohoo!
With that, I'll follow up from our previous conversation and find out how much it is. It's £14.95 in dollars, apparently. The email doesn't want to tell me how much it costs in pounds. So forget it, Direct to Drive. You don't cater to the English audience enough. I think it's a fair comment. So, let's move on to the final part of the show where usually we ask you a question, but this week we asked you to ask us a question.
Apparently.
Go.
Yeah, apparently £14.95 is about £9.
Yeah. So, maybe worthwhile. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe buy it.
I'll be checking it out anyway. I'll tell you more next week, hopefully. Who knows? So, final part of the show, we asked you to ask us some questions, and out of rage from Direct to Drive, I closed my email inbox, so I don't have the questions. The first question, which I do now have up, was from one Common Troll, who's a good buddy of ours. We've played some good games with him, haven't we, man?
We have indeed.
He tends to join us every single week. He says, there's a good question, I guess, to ask us. Dear Ironhammers, I, like many people, am quite interested in starting up some kind of web show, such as a podcast, YouTube channel, website, etc., and was wondering whether you had any advice on the matter. Which is a bit of a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start, because it depends on your reasoning for wanting to do it. If you want to do it to make money, prepare for a very tough road ahead of you. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and I'm skint. Well and truly skint. I make enough to get by, but I'm skint. Pretty much. But I do it for a different reason. And if it can keep me out of a proper job, I guess you could call it, and I get by with a bit less money, but loving what I'm doing, then it's a completely different matter. So you say a podcast, YouTube channel, website. I would say to start with, perhaps a website can be very daunting. You have an awful lot of things to do, and it's a whole lot of work to keep regular content going up. And regular content is really key to keeping people coming back, because if people are going to return every day to your website and they're going to see the same stuff they saw yesterday, they will stop returning eventually. So if you can do regular content, then by all means set up a website. However, a YouTube channel or a podcast is a pretty easy way to start.
Yeah, or a blog.
Or just a blog, just write every now and again about things that you have experienced, or if something happens and you want to get it out there, you know. And the same can be done with a YouTube channel. If you use it as kind of a vlog type thing, you could maybe make 2 or 3 videos a week where you talk about a game that you've played, or you talk about a recent affair in gaming, whether it be PC gaming or otherwise, and just kind of get out there and chat. And same with a podcast, really. You can start one up. It's very tough to get people to listen, as me and Dan can probably attest to. Here on Ironhammers, previous episodes have cleared 400 downloads a week, which isn't bad. There's a few people listening, far more people than what come along to the live show.
Yes.
But it's a good, man. It's all good. And like I say, we do it because we love it more than anything. So if you're going to have fun doing it, then the best thing to do is just to do it. Like, when I started this podcast, I don't know how long ago it was now. I'd been doing the website for a while before we started the podcast. It was a spur of the moment thing. I'm speaking to Simon the Diamond Ivanov, who's a great guy who had set up Gamer Corp, and he was doing all gaming type shows on there. He asked us, seeing as we had a website, if we'd like to do like a PC gaming one, and I decided I'd love to do that sort of thing, and I still love to do it now. And I just went and bought a microphone, and I bought a mixer, and I just started recording shows. Basically, it will take you a little while to get comfortable sitting in front of a camera or sitting in front of a microphone and listening to your own voice, and when you're editing it over, realising how much of a complete penis you might sound at times when you say things completely wrong. But you get over it eventually. Normally to the point where you stop listening to it. But yeah, just get out and do it, man. If it's something that you love and it's something you enjoy talking about and it's something that you know about, then chances are other people will be who will love it, and other people will enjoy it, and other people will want to talk about it. And if you can get other people to want to talk about what you've just spoken about, then that's when things start to get good, because you start getting a lot of comments on your content and things like that, and people will want to get in touch, and they'll want to send you emails asking you questions such as, what should I do if I want to start a podcast?
Yeah, and there is also another easier way. If you just want to try getting into it, that's to take the route that I did, which was find a podcast you like, keep in contact with them all the time, asking them questions for their shows and stuff until they think, hang on, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. Let's see if he wants to be on the show with us.
Indeed.
That's how I started hijacking the Gamesman and now Ironhammers.
That's what Dan does best. I love to have him on every single week. So yeah, like Dan says, if there's a podcast that you like, I mean, obviously don't go emailing IGN or somebody saying you want to participate on their podcast, because they probably won't let you.
No, they'd probably just delete that email straight away and block any future ones.
Yeah. But if there's a little podcast that you kind of like listening to, just get in touch with them, man. I know many podcasts, including myself. We're always looking for new people to have on and trying to keep things fresh and trying to hear different people's opinions on different things and stuff. So get in touch. And I'm sure you'll find somebody who will happily have you on after a brief chat. We've spoken to you before, you know. After a little chat and you get to know them a little bit, I'm sure there's many people that would be more than happy to have you on there. And from there, you could decide if you enjoy it, then you can go out and buy a good microphone and things to do it yourself. And you can start learning. It
doesn't even have to be that great a microphone. I mean, I sound fairly okay on this, and this is just a fairly good gaming headset.
Exactly. So yeah, it's pretty easy to get into. YouTube channel, the same. You just need a camera and a microphone, basically. If you want to start editing gameplay, and you will of course need some sort of video editing software and stuff like that. But I mean, you can get free video editing software and stuff, which will do the basics for it. But like I say, the main things are do it because you want to do it and because you love doing it. Do it about a subject that you're knowledgeable of, and don't BS, because people will find out. There's one thing I always say to people. A lot of people who have written for me on Ironhammers and stuff say like about reviews and things, and like there'll be times when you review a game and you haven't like finished the whole game and things like that, you know. And they're like, what should I do? Because it's really not a good game. I know that if I play another 20 hours of it, my opinion is not going to change. I'm in a place where I can write a review, but you know, I don't want people to think I haven't played it all. And like I say, just be honest with them, because the internet is a big place, and there's many people there, and there's many people that will try and put you down for the slightest little tiny mistake, and they will absolutely hate on you because of it, and you just have to kind of ignore it. It happens. Get used to it.
Trolls are very common.
Indeed. But yeah, just be honest. If you haven't played something, just say, I haven't played it, as Dan did with Mega Man. Many people may have tried to BS it and say, oh yeah, Mega Man, I should have known that one. And they may well have come unstuck at a later date. And the internet will find you out, believe me. They will find you out. So yeah, just do it, man. If you want to do it, go out and do it. Get in touch with people. Maybe find some friends that share your same interests that you can do it with. It's always good to have people around you when you do it at first, because it can feel a little bit daunting going out on your own. I remember doing podcasts on my own for the very first time. I did. It was just a half an hour podcast that I was doing about iPhone games. And speaking for half an hour on my own was so daunting. And now I sit and watch Dan just kind of twiddling his thumbs while I go on and on and on and on and on, and I feel perfectly comfortable doing so. So yeah, you get there, man. Just do it, try it, spread the word through things like Twitter and Facebook. Tell your friends to share it about, and I'm sure you'll be good to go.
I remember when we did that Christmas segment for the Gamesman. We all had to do like a 5-minute bit about the year, and I thought, that's easy. I'll just be able to chat for 5 minutes. There won't be any problems. And it was terrible. I couldn't do it. I ended up having to actually write a script out to actually talk sensibly for the whole 5 minutes.
It's so difficult to talk to nobody, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it's so much easier. I've chatting to you like this or on one of the other casts, it's just like having a chat with anyone else down the phone. It's really quite simple.
Indeed. And if you're speaking for 5 minutes, it doesn't feel so odd, because there's people kind of listening to you at the time.
Yeah.
But when you're recording it all on your own and you're just speaking, and you've got no kind of like feedback of what you're saying, so you kind of might speak for 3 minutes and then you kind of forget what you've been saying for 3 minutes, and you've got no one to kind of push you on and kind of say, I understand, Bobby, I understand what you're saying, and you're like, did that make any sense? Because it was all in my head, and it all worked in my head, but I don't know if it sounded right. But just go with it, man. Practice makes perfect. I'm still far from perfect, as you've probably noticed, and as the live format that we go by here on Ironhammers shows so well. But just get out there and do it, man. Dan, would you like to tell us the next question that we had?
The next, was that from the same person by any chance?
No, it was...
No, John Lee.
It was from Fodder, who's in the chat room there.
Yeah, there we go. He says, what games are you most looking forward to? And did you see Battlefield 3 press conference and Gamescom? If so, what did you think of the co-op and multiplayer gameplay that was shown?
2 questions in one email.
Indeed.
Both of which we've kind of answered already. We spoke a little bit about co-op earlier.
Yeah.
And we spoke about what games we were looking forward to last week, didn't we, man?
Yeah, we did a bit, yeah.
So let's give him an answer nonetheless.
Yeah.
What games are you looking forward to in the rest of the year, man?
Saints Row 3.
Saints Row 3.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Forza 4 on the 360, so I can actually use my Kinect. But PC gaming-wise, Saints Row 3 and Trackmania 2, even though I'm going to actually have to buy it. But it's only 20 quid, and all the DLC will be free, so...
And it will be worthwhile.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And when my computer can run it, Battlefield 3. Hey.
Indeed. As for me, Battlefield 3, of course. Dota 2, I'm hoping, will be this year. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then, of course, there is Diablo 3, which hopefully will hit this year sometime. Although I wouldn't guarantee it.
Skyrim. I forgot about Skyrim.
And Skyrim, of course, is another one. Deus Ex comes out in a couple of weeks' time. I'm sure that's going to be a rather good one.
And Driving Simulator 2011 is coming out soon.
Driving Simulator 2011. That's the new one. Is that the one I played? Which was the one I played? I'm trying to look
I think you played 2010, didn't you?
I don't remember. It may be Driving Simulator 2012, which might be coming out.
One of them's coming out at some point.
Something like that. I can't remember which one it is. I can't see my box around anywhere. It's around here somewhere, but I don't see it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm really looking forward to. And I'm sure that there's something I'm completely missing. But I don't know. There's quite a few things. Another one that I'm looking forward to, which I'm still kind of not entirely sure about, is Space Marine, Warhammer 40k Space Marine. That looks very fun. And it has a pretty cool multiplayer aspect by the looks of it. And a co-op aspect as well, which they showed off the other day. It looks a lot of fun, man. I don't know whether it will live up to it, but it looks a lot of fun. And the second part of his question has evaded my mind. What was that again, then?
Did you see the Battlefield 3 press conference, and what did you think of the co-op and multiplayer gameplay that was shown?
Did you see it, Dan?
I didn't, because I was taking photographs of teapots.
You poor soul. I did see it. And as I mentioned earlier on in the show, which obviously Fodder wasn't aware that we were going to talk about this before he sent the question in. So fair play to him, and thanks for sending the questions to both of you guys who sent them in. But yeah, I thought it looked awesome. I love co-op gameplay. I'm so looking forward to getting on TeamSpeak with a buddy and playing through that and trying to rape my friend's high scores on that battle log thing. I just think it's going to be so much fun, man. And it's going to be a bit more kind of casual in a way than playing the usual multiplayer part, if you see what I mean.
Thought of something else that I'm looking forward to in the first quarter of next year.
Which is?
APB Reloaded.
You will keep bringing that up, won't you, Dan?
Of course I will.
That stupid Gamers First thing keeps booting every time I start my computer. It's really bugging me.
MS config.
No, well, I'm sure there's an option to just turn it off anyway. I'm sure I've even looked at the option. I just didn't check it. And
you must be able to, because it doesn't do it when I boot.
Yeah, it's just bugging me, and I never get round to actually stopping it, and it's one of those things that I should get around to. Which, by the way, I got around to cleaning my desktop today. If anybody's ever seen my desktop before, which I know Dan has, I'm down to about 20 icons on my desktop, which is pretty good going.
It's good going for you.
It did get to the point earlier today where I downloaded a few Battlefield 3 screenshots to accompany my post on the co-op play on Ironhammers, and they didn't fit on my desktop. It wasn't good, and I thought I'd better sort this shit out, so I deleted them all. But yeah, the Battlefield 3 co-op stuff looks awesome. I love co-op play, as I said, and like I say, I can't wait to get playing it with some people, man. It is going to be so damn good. I know it. It just looks amazing. And I think that was about it for questions which came our way, wasn't it, man?
I believe so, unless anything snuck up in the past few seconds.
Looking, I have a email from Lord of the Rings Online.
Are they asking anything?
They're telling me that I can pre-purchase the Rise of Isengard DLC, and I get a Rohan-style mount now for pre-purchasing. And then it goes into Spanish or something.
Nice.
I don't know. Maybe if I display images. Oh, there we go. Pre-purchase Rise of Isengard, yeah, Rohan-style mount now. Ride into Isengard in style. Choose from one of 3 coloured blankets for your horse, or get all 3 mounts with the purchase of the Legendary Edition. And then there's a picture of a little dwarf guy riding on a big horse. And I really need to go back to that game, man. And they keep emailing me all the time, and it's so tempting, and it's of course free. And I sat and watched all of the Lord of the Rings movies again just recently.
Oh yeah.
And they're just so good, man. They are so good. So ridiculously good. And as soon as I finished watching them, like, I woke up the next morning and I got an email pop up from Lord of the Rings Online, and I was like, I have got to get back into that game. So Dan, if I play APB Reloaded with you, you have to play LOTRO with me.
Yeah, I need to download that. I haven't really played much of that for ages.
Me neither. Which reminds me of another game that I'm looking forward to, which is the Lord of the Rings...
old thingy.
Conquest?
No, I think
that was the old one. Was that the old one?
Oh,
War in the North.
You know what, Yeah.
War in the North. That looks like it could be shaping up to be something good from Snowblind there.
Yeah, that's November, isn't it?
I believe so. It's definitely this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm crossing my fingers. November. It is an awfully busy month, man. September, November, and then I looked at the releases for December, and it was Mario Kart 7.
Yeah, that's what you must have looked at the same thing I looked at.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of good stuff coming up for the rest of this year, and a few really good things announced for like early next year as well. So I think there's good things to come, especially for the PC, man.
Oh, cool. There's good things to come on everything, but
especially on the PC.
Oh yeah,
of course. So that wraps up our non-question of the week this week. If you have a suggestion for a question of the week, or perhaps you would just like to ask a question like these guys did, send an email to podcast@ironhammers.org. It's as simple as that. So before we wrap this up, I just want to mention one more thing, and that is Extra Life. We've mentioned it every week so far. I haven't checked for a while. I don't know if I've got any sponsors as of yet. Probably not. But we'd love to have you sponsor us, guys. We're going to be playing video games 24 hours. You can sponsor us by PayPal or by card and things like that. You can just drop £1 or $2 or $1 or $2 or a Deutschmark or 2. They don't have those anymore, do they?
No, that were euros.
Yep, they're all going down the pan. But that's another topic altogether. Extra Life, you can sponsor me and Dan by going to charity.ironhammers.org. We're part of the VGHub.net team, which is a bunch of great podcasts and websites. So go and check out VGHub.net as well. And come and sponsor us, charity.ironhammers.org. We'd love to get your sponsors. It's for a very good cause. Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, helping six kids. There's probably more than six sick kids.
I think so.
Yeah.
It would be great if there weren't.
If there was only 6, then it might be much easier to resolve.
I think we'd have covered it with what we've raised so far.
We would probably be sorted. But sick kids, nonetheless, great cause. So do head over to charity.ironhammers.org and drop us a few pounds. We're going to be playing video games 24 hours, possibly 48.
Yeah, I'm doing the 48.
Dan's doing 48, and I think I may have to definitely join
nutter
him on that. So yeah, it's got to be worth it. I'm going to be putting myself through the terrible misery of playing StarCraft 2 for 48 hours. I mean, how could I ever survive such an ordeal?
I think I'm going to have to hack the servers so you can't play.
No.
You have to play something else.
Then it will be an ordeal. It'll be a terrible ordeal. But yeah, come and check that out. Dan, where can people find you over the next week, man, if they want to get in touch?
If you want to get in touch with me, you can get me on Twitter. Look up Hardly Dan, and I'm there.
As is written on the video feed there.
Yep. Xbox Live, Games for Windows Live, Steam, Origin. Everything's Hardly Dan, pretty much. Yeah, that's about it. How about you, Bobby?
And I just want to point out that you can also find Dan at thegamesman.com.
Oh, yeah.
He is recording a podcast later this week. Are you doing it on Thursday again?
I'm not sure when I'm doing it at the moment. I need to figure that out.
Let me know, and I'll be sure to be there last time. I do apologise for my absence last. I wasn't here, and I just completely forgot about it. And I was avoiding that 15-inch monitor like the plague. So I wasn't even looking online or anything. I was logged into Steam on this awful computer, and I just kind of like to forget about it. And
Bobby's online, now he's away. Bobby's online, now he's away.
I was watching things on iPlayer on the computer or something, on the big TV. So it was probably every time I clicked to play the next episode that it kind of came up and said I was online again, and then it decided I was away after watching iPlayer for an hour. But yeah, I'll definitely be there, man. So you can check both of us out on the next episode of The Gamesman. Dan is, of course, a regular member of The Gamesman at thegamesman.com. And if you want to find me, as Dan so kindly asked, before I went on a tangent, you can find me at Twitter, twitter.com/ironhammers. You can find me at facebook.com/ironhammer5, because I stole my S. It's a long running joke. Listen to previous episodes if you don't get it. I'm going to stop repeating it eventually. It's going to phase out. YouTube.com/IronhammersTV, where video versions of this podcast will be available in the very near future. Well, they are available now, but just not this episode because it's not finished yet. But maybe by the time you listen to it, it might be there. YouTube.com/IronhammersTV. Different trailers and stuff. I put up a nice new Mass Effect trailer from Gamescom earlier today. I'm going to be getting that 1080p Battlefield 3 trailer up there also.
Sweet.
Probably overnight tonight. I didn't want to upload a 1080p trailer while I was still using the internet. That was why I haven't done it yet. I think it's a fair excuse. iTunes.ironhammers.org will link you directly to our iTunes store page where you can subscribe to our podcast for free. So if you've got an iPhone like I have, it's very simple. It will download it, sync it automatically, and if you listen to half an episode, it will even sync the point that you listen to it.
And it'd be great if you left some reviews.
And while you're there, leave some reviews. Valid point, Dan. And of course, we stream here every Tuesday at 11 PM. We're usually here at 11 PM. We usually kick off a little bit later, but it's good fun. Twitch.tv/Ironhammers. You can log in with your Justin.tv account if you want to get involved in the chat room, as a few people often do, and we can have good fun, good laughs. And finally, Ironhammers.org, which is my website. Several other people writing with me there. And like I say, I just posted a Limbo review today. I posted up a whole bunch of news from Gamescom, the Battlefield 3 stuff. There's a nice new SteelSeries Dota 2 themed mousepad that's coming out, which I posted about too. All the latest PC gaming news, reviews, and all that kind of good stuff over there. So we'll see you all next week. Thanks for Dan for joining me once again.
No worries, man.
Always great to have you on. And thanks to everyone who joined us in the chat room. Thanks to everybody that downloads the show and listens to the pre-recorded versions. We appreciate all of you just the same, and we'll see you guys in just under a week's time, because we've been doing this for a little while now, just not quite a full week. See you later.
Game over.